he told me, he was like, look, you're good. He was like, it'll heal, but it's, you've got like, it's just going to take a little bit of time. I'm like, well, I'm playing ice hockey 3 times a week, and I'm in the gym 5 times a week on pads in the mornings, and then I'm lifting every day. I'm like, I cut back a little bit, but I'm like, I need to heal faster. So then I hit up my buddy over at Castle Rock Men's Health, and I asked him, I'm like, what do I do, man? Like, I need something to speed this up. And he was like, have you thought about peptides? It's like, well, I from what I had heard about them, they were still pretty experimental, and it was like they had only had rodent studies, and they had like, it was kind of, but then you dig around, and like I literally searched on every single website I could find, listened to podcast after podcast, could not find anything at all negative about them. Like, no matter how hard I dug, and so then I was like, all right, like, let's try it. So then they put me on BPC 157, TB 500, GHKCU, which is like copper.
And are they localized shots? Is that how you?
Yeah. So it's sub-Q. So you essentially like, you pretty much just pinch the skin and then just put the needle in there, and it goes right under your skin, and then you let go and you're good. And it's like, they're super easy, super tiny needles, and you have to do it every day. The standard like protocol for it, because it's still on like the experimental phase. Mm-hmm. It's like 5 days on, 2 days off. And it was like, I was reluctant, because the thing is actually Huberman had talked about it. He was like, it does vascularize tissue, which is great for injury. So like ligament and tendon, they don't get a lot of blood flow. So if like I tore, if this is like a labrum tear in my hip or something like that, it doesn't get a ton of blood flow to it. But what BPC and a lot of these other peptides do is they increase vasculature, which will increase blood flow to that area, which should heal.
Did you try dry needling at all, or anything like that?
Not on my hip, not on this one. I've had it before for other stuff, but
I'm a fan of that. I think that's helped me out too. Yeah.
E-stim.
If you have the time. Yeah.
So the chiropractor I was talking about, he does electroacupuncture. So it's not so much dry needling, but he puts the needles in.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's a dry needle, but then they hook a like electrode to it, and it just pulses like whatever you got going on, just to promote blood flow. Yeah.
So that was great. I had that done on my hip. That one I did do. And then after all, I was like, well, I can't keep taking Advil. Like
that shit will wreck you too, man.
Big time.
Like you take that enough.
Yeah, it destroys your gut and everything. Yeah. And that's where like the peptides come from, is your gut. So it's like all of these are synthesized from stuff that I already had. So it's not like,
which I'm a fan of, man. It's like, that makes so much sense to me.
Right? Well, it's not some like experimental mRNA tech that nobody's ever tried. It's like this.
Like the COVID vaccine?
And
there goes the episode now.
I remember last time I almost got into it. You were like, oh, we're going to get like, they're going to put us like, they're going to shut us down.
I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, this is all stuff from your gut. Like you actually created it, just they give you a little bit more. So, it's had a huge impact. The thing is I got it for my hip, and I was like, all right, well, it's, before I knew it, dude, like my right shoulder, like, cause I made a tackle in football and somebody jumped on the top. Like I had a hold of him. I had a hold of his jersey, and somebody jumped on top of me trying to grab him, and it like pulled this. And I think my shoulders hurt ever since that play. And so when I lat pull down, it all like it hurts. It used to hurt when I would incline bench. Like it would just but it wasn't bad pain. It was just like, it was annoying pain. It's like when you first bench press for the first time and your shoulders feel kind of shitty. That's what it was like all the time. I haven't felt that pain at all since I got on this. And it was kind of weird at first. Like it made my skin burn, and I was nervous about it with psoriasis because nitric oxide increase. I remember I don't know if you remember NO2, it was the first like big supplement that pushed nitric oxide levels up in your blood to make you like,
I think I remember something like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen it at some point. It was a long time ago. This was, probably 20 years ago that it came out.
Was that Andro? Was Andro in 02?
No, it was, but I think it was around that same.
Yeah, there was some crazy shit back then, dude.
They were doing ephedra and everything.
Fuel and fucking all that sort of.
Rip Fuel was man. And then I remember
used to take that stuff and then go to boxing or fucking go to the gym or
and it
play
had real
football.
ephedra.
We were playing football on it.
They took ephedra out, and then my buddy was buying ephedra from
from Mexico or some shit.
And then he was adding it back to the Rip Fuel.
God,
that was like high school. But man. So but NO2, I took that, and I had like the worst. I mean, probably the second or third worst like outbreak of psoriasis over my whole body because the nitric oxide shot way up. But I was eating like shit. There was a lot of other things playing a factor at that point. So I was like, shit, if for some reason this pushes my nitric oxide level, it's going to, and it's going to increase, blood flow and everything. I'm like, am I going to have an issue with it? And, bro, nothing. Like, it's cut inflammation down extreme. Like the first, I'd say like second or third day in, my joints hurt. And I was kind of nervous about that. I was like, and then like after about a week or two, like it felt like somebody hit me with an oil can, like in every single joint. Like I feel sweet. Like,
really?
Oh man, huge difference. My shoulder doesn't hurt. Like there's no issue with it at all.
I might be hitting you up after this for your doc,
dude,
for a recommendation because
it's awesome.
I'm like just